grade 6-4. Anybody absent today? Yeah, Mr. Atwood. Oh, yeah. Yeah, not here anymore. Okay. So this lesson is really just kind of compiling the last 3 lessons. We're talking about transformations, and it might be a reflection, and might be a slide, it might be a rotation. And so they're giving you some problems where you need to tell me how, let's say ABC was translated to ABC prime. And often there's more than one right answer. But look at this one right here. And I just grabbed some graphing paper and went ahead and graphed figure A here. And anybody have an idea how you could map A to B? Mr. Webster, what do you think?
You could rotate it around the origin.
Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to put my pencil on the origin right here, and I'm going to rotate it. Look at that. That works. So you would rotate it. What would that be? 90? 180 degrees about the origin. Okay. Yeah. All right. What's another way you could do it? Yeah. Okay. Take a look. Mr. Perry said we could reflect it across the y-axis. So to do that, I'm just going to note that this point here, if I reflect this whole figure, it's going to be 1, 2 away. It's going to end up right there. So now I've reflected it across the y-axis, and then Mr. Perry said reflect it across the x-axis. And so this point right here is 1, 2, 3 away. This is 1, 2, 3 away, so I want this on that. And then I'm going to reflect it across the x-axis. That works. So 2 reflections. Nicely done. Is there another one that somebody sees how you could do it? Mr. Webster.
Maybe reflect it. Line there, I probably did this one. Reflect it across. No, wait, no. Reflect it across the origin, maybe? Yeah.
Reflect it across the origin. Well, you're reflecting it across a point, and I'm not quite sure how you would do that. You can reflect something across a line, but not across a point. Other thoughts? Anybody? Well, there are other ways to do it, and we just looked at a couple. So let's move on to example 1 on page 328. And they're talking about a sequence of transformations. And it says Ava translates the fireplace 15 units to the right. So apparently she's designing her home. Here's the fireplace. So she moves it, and you can see this here, 15 units to the right, and then she rotates it 90 degrees. And then to try it, it says Ava decided to move the cabinet, and I'm assuming this is the cabinet they're talking about, to the opposite wall. And again, I'm assuming this is the opposite wall, not over here. And it says, what sequence of transformations moves the cabinet to its new positions? And when I actually glanced at the teacher's manual, it said move 11 units up to the right. And I thought, well, that looks like it's too far. So if I count these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 would put it outside the room, so that wouldn't work. So it's actually 10 units up. And then what? So now we've moved this cabinet 10 units up. Now what would I do with it? Move it what?
10 to the right.
Okay, so I move it up here, and then I move it 10 to the right, and it puts it pretty much on top of the fireplace. That's not going to work. Mr. Keith.
Rotate it 180 degrees.
Rotate it 180 degrees. Then rotate 180 degrees. Because it says, I heard somebody ask, where are we trying to move it to? Well, it's in the question. It says she decided to move it to the opposite wall.
Oh, I see.
Okay? All right, scratch out the convince me, not worried about that. Example 2. I think there's a couple problems like this. And it says translate quadrilateral MNPQ 7 units to the left and then reflect it across line -3. So here's the quadrilateral, and they've moved it 7 units. And then it says reflect it across line X. X is -3, and so they've given us a nice red dotted line where X is -3, which would pretty much be right in the center of that figure. And so the figure just kind of reflects across itself. And so then you've got a new point of location for M, N, P, and Q. And so they've drawn that there for you. And you've got at least 1 or 2 questions that are like that, where they're going to ask you to reflect a figure, Miss Anderson, across itself. All right? Example 3. It says, what is a sequence of transformation that maps triangle ABC into ABC? And now we get into double prime. That's what they call these. If they have 2 marks, it's double prime. 1 mark.
Copy of a prime.
Okay, that's called double prime. ABC double prime. And so again, they just answer that for you. It says translate ABC 8 units to the right. So they've done that there. And then 6 units down. So now they're sliding it down. And then you're going to reflect ABC prime across, what's it say, the y-axis. So you're reflecting it across the y-axis to ABC double prime. And then the try it at the bottom, it says, what's another sequence of transformation that maps ABC, triangle ABC, to ABC double prime? So in this one, I'm looking for another sequence of transformations. It may include a reflection, it may include a rotation, it may include just sliding it. I mean, I'll let you guys, and there's more than one answer to that. Try it on the bottom of page 329. Page 330, number 1, if you scratch that out, it says, how can you use a sequence of transformations to map a preimage to its image? I looked at this in the books. The teacher's manual said you can use a sequence of transformations to map a preimage to its image. So that was kind of a waste of time. And you can see the key concept, which is often the answer to number 1. It says you can use a sequence of 2 or more transformations to map a preimage to its image. So I'm not quite sure why they ask you that, but they did. Number 2 and 3, we already went over those. Number 2, it says a preimage is rotated 180 degrees about the origin, and they're rotated 180 degrees about the origin again. Compare the preimage and image. Well, they're the same. You're just going to map it back onto itself if you do 180 degrees twice. If you do 180 degrees twice in the same direction, it'll go back onto itself. If you do 180 degrees clockwise and then 180 degrees counterclockwise, again, you're just going to map it back to itself. And then number 3, it says a figure ABC with the vertices, and they give it to us here, is rotated 90 degrees clockwise about the origin. It's then reflected across the y-axis. Then it says describe a sequence that would result in the same image. And remember, an image is Oh, I won't say that. Okay, so anyways, here's the answer, or one possible answer. A 90-degree counterclockwise rotation about the origin and a reflection across the x-axis would do the same thing that they described up here. Page 330, 4, 5, and 6, circle those. Page 331, number 7, fill out all 4 boxes in reference to what they have here. Number 8 says model with math. And I want you to graph EFGH prime to show the new location of the table. So they're moving this table here, and they tell you what to do. The family moves the table shown in the rectangle here. It says a translation of 3 units left and 3 units down. Then it says followed by a 90-degree rotation about the origin. So you may want to grab some graph paper if you want, or maybe not. Maybe you won't need to do that. But it's up to you. And there's a ton of these little pieces of graph paper on top of the Chromebook cart there. 9 and 10, 11 scratch out, not worried about that. 12, do A and B. And then 13, A and B, multiple choice. There is a Math XL that I've also assigned. And you might want to do the XL first. It's a 6-3, not a 6-4, because that's due, by midnight tonight. This is not due until tomorrow, so I would do the Math XL first if I were you. And that's it.